Today's horoscope from AstroCademy, Sagittarius, February 25, 2025. After over 2 months of retrograde motion, Mars turns direct today, clarifying your desires. You're less inclined to hold on to resentments, and while further inner work is necessary, it's clearer what that is now. Mars will continue to transit in the background of your solar chart, directing your attention behind the scenes for a while longer, but when Mars does re-enter your sign on April 18, you'll be raring to go. Until then, it's a good time for self-improvement programs, volunteer work, and talking through problems with a trusted person in your life. You are less likely to nurse your wounds. Take decisions slowly and ease yourself back into action for the best results. Distractions aside, today can be favorable for research, understanding, and observation. After rocky, turbulent storms and constant exhaustion for months, you're likely feeling a tad bit better. From now until April 2025, mighty Mars, the red planet of energy, will be firing up your solar house of privacy, seclusion, and unconsciousness. Whether single or attached, you'll be receiving critical, intuitive messages about how you can shift your personal and romantic life in the direction of your choosing. However, one thing to be wary of is that you could be tempted into some secret liaisons or an extramarital affair, so don't play with fire unless you're entirely aware that you could end up burnt. What are you worried about? Address your financial fears and insecurities once Mercury in Pisces trines Mars retrograde in Cancer. You may not want to have this conversation or realization if you do not want to feel overly vulnerable. However, something about your financial status and professional authority has been bothering you. It is worthwhile to address whatever you are intuiting. Luckily, your strength and authority will return, because Mars will station direct in Cancer shortly after. You may feel better after working through what has been weighing on you. Are you familiar with the phrase, beginner's luck? It is typical for you to grasp very quickly the point of a given exercise, but also to tire of it just as quickly. For instance, if you have been somewhat regular about diet and exercise, you will feel the effects almost immediately. However, that positive effect will also make you feel like it's okay to slacken your routine. Resist this tendency by incorporating more elements into your healthy regimen. Get to bed earlier and wake up earlier. Be careful when it comes to making important decisions today. With your own fun-loving day at hand, it can be far too easy to miss important details, or to overlook the commitment that is involved in your decisions. Your ability to concentrate will be at a very low level, so doing mindless tasks is definitely the way to go. Be sure to leave some time for recreation, as you are sure to be in the mood for this. As the moon leaves a playful and creative part of your chart and returns to your busy work sector, it will be to find that tables have turned and what has been the natural order for years has been reversed. At this time of year and right through until later in the year, this would normally see the moon leave a playful and creative part of your chart empty until it returns the following month while teaming up with what has been years of near continuous activity on the job front. Instead, it will be to find your work sector empty while leaving behind forces that are going to keep the playful and creative side of life's fence alive. It is just as the asteroid Juno is settling into her first weekend in your romantic sector in 4 years. Venus, the planet of love, moves into her final 7 days in direct motion in an adventurous part of your chart. It is Venus' retrograde turn that will not only keep her here until the end of the month but will see her spend the next 5 weeks drawing closer to Juno. As the moon leaves your romantic sector, it wraps up a visit that has already brought the spirit of romance and adventure together. Our eyes in the sky. After what may have felt like an endless struggle, a time filled with hesitation, emotional exhaustion, and a sense of being stuck in a loop, Mars stations direct in Cancer today, marking the end of its retrograde journey. This shift is like the first rays of sunlight breaking through after a long, stormy night. If you've been feeling drained, uncertain, or caught in cycles of doubt and second-guessing, you might now begin to sense a shift in your energy, a return to a state of clarity and determination. It's as if the fog has lifted, and the path ahead, though still requiring effort, now feels more attainable and less overwhelming. Have you ever woken up one day and suddenly felt a renewed sense of control over your life, as if something just clicked into place? That's the kind of energy today brings: a fresh start, a new rhythm, and a realization that progress is not only possible but already beginning to take shape. It's the moment where you stop looking backward and instead focus on what's next with a sense of purpose. Tasks that once felt tedious or insurmountable may now seem manageable, and your ability to set boundaries and express your needs could feel more natural. If you've been holding back emotions, particularly frustration or unresolved tension, Mars direct encourages you to acknowledge and release them in a healthy, constructive way. It's not about acting impulsively but about giving yourself permission to process these feelings and move forward without carrying unnecessary weight. Have you ever been surprised by how much lighter you feel after simply expressing what's been on your mind? Today offers that kind of relief. It's also important to take a moment to reflect on what you've learned during the retrograde period. Instead of rushing ahead, ask yourself, what patterns have emerged in your relationships, career, or personal growth? What lessons have you encountered that you may not have fully processed yet? Sometimes, our greatest insights come not in the midst of struggle but in the moments just after, when we finally have the perspective to see how far we've come. Now is the time to integrate those lessons and let them shape your next steps. With Mars gaining momentum, you might start viewing the world through a clearer lens. The things that once felt confusing or out of reach could suddenly begin to make sense, and decision-making becomes more intuitive. If you've experienced moments of doubt recently, trust that the clarity you've been seeking is now within reach. Have you ever had a moment where everything seemed to align, and you just knew what you needed to do? That kind of realization is more likely to happen now, especially if you remain open to new insights. This is also a time to share what you've learned with those around you, whether through meaningful conversations, creative expression, or simply being more open about your experiences. The things you've gone through, your challenges, your growth, your discoveries could be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now. Have you ever noticed how sharing your story can inspire or bring clarity to someone else? Your words and experiences hold power, and today is a great day to use them for connection and understanding. As your energy starts to increase, remember that balance is key. When Mars shifts, it can feel like an internal fire reigniting, but that doesn't mean you have to sprint forward without rest. Take care of yourself. Pay attention to your physical and mental well-being. Are there any habits that no longer serve you? This is an ideal moment to make small but impactful changes, adjusting your daily routine, being mindful of your nutrition, or carving out time for self-care. Even simple acts like spending time in nature, moving your body, or drinking more water can significantly improve your overall well-being. Communication also takes on a more powerful role today. You may find it easier to express your thoughts with confidence, and others are more receptive to your ideas. If you've been avoiding a difficult conversation, now is a good time to address it with honesty and clarity. Have you ever had someone unexpectedly seek your advice, and in the process of helping them, you realized just how much you've grown yourself? Today presents opportunities for those kinds of exchanges, where supporting others can also reinforce your own understanding of your journey. Intellectually, you might feel sharper and more engaged, making it a great time for problem-solving, learning, or diving into discussions that challenge and expand your thinking. You may feel a renewed curiosity, a desire to explore new perspectives, or even take the lead in conversations. If you've been contemplating a new project or considering an opportunity, trust that you have the insight and determination to see it through. Leadership, however, isn't just about pushing forward, it's also about listening. Have you ever been in a conversation where a simple shift in perspective changed everything? That kind of breakthrough energy is present today, so be open to collaboration and new ideas.